And this is something where motivates me really much because now I know I have a direction. I try to think about what is other people doing.
The reigning 63-kilo world champion. Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh! Will she have a podium finish from 4th to 2nd? Oh! Locks it out! 582.5, the queen of the 63s, the reigning 63-kilo world champion, the strongest 63 that ever lived.
Good morning, guys. So today I just wanted to make more of a vlog. I'm gonna talk about getting back to it and getting motivation up again after achieving a big goal. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Alba Boström. I am the reigning world champion in the 63-kilo weight class. I'm a current world record holder as well in powerlifting, and I recently competed at the biggest powerlifting meet that we have, Sheffield. I came in 2nd place, which is sad, but also very good at this competition because it is a competition based on world records. I broke the world record in my weight class with 17.5 kilos, but that, someone else broke it with a slightly higher percentage than me. Hence, I came in 2nd place. But either way, it's a very good standing for this specific competition, although, of course, I always want more. So after that, now moving on forward, I will have the world championships. And of course, I'm an athlete. I know a lot of people that follow me here on this channel are powerlifters, but I also know a lot of people that follow me here are also not powerlifters. So I wanted to talk about getting motivation after achieving a big goal. And it can be anything. It could be maybe you lost some weight that you have been aiming for. Maybe you achieved a physique you wanted to. Maybe you hit a PR you've been wanting to. And after you achieve it, it's quite easy to actually lose track. We know that a lot of people that lose weight end up gaining everything back very fast, if not more. And so, setting a new goal after achieving a goal is a good thing. However, sometimes you can be a little bit burned out. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. And something that I am going to talk about on that topic is also habit stacking. I'm currently reading this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. I've been reading it in the past, but I continue reading it now, and it just reminded me of the power of habit stacking. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But if you're new here to this channel, this is a channel where I share all of my best tips and keep you entertained as well. So tips, tricks to get stronger, mindset, and of course you get to follow me on my journey as well. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to subscribe and like this video, and please comment below what other kind of videos that you do want as well. With that said, I'm here drinking my matcha. I love having matcha in the morning. I stopped having coffee in August actually. Since then, I haven't had a single drop of coffee since then, and I'm not going back. I have had energy drinks though, and I am trying that out, but it's just like calm alertness that you get from matcha, and I don't have the same crash in the afternoon, and I really like the taste. Now that I drink this and I think about the taste of coffee, I'm like, I don't want coffee. But I'm here reading. This is something I do every single morning. It's very rare that I film something when I'm doing this, because this is like my me time. That's why I'm talking so slow and quietly compared to my normal high energy. But I'm literally just drinking my matcha. I'm gonna do some reading and I'm gonna journal. And this is something that I actually learned from my boyfriend when I met him, which is almost 5 years ago. And he was always reading and journaling in the morning. And so I got up on that. And what I realized is journaling is actually one of the best routines that I have. It's one of the things that I do every day that I never feel tired of. And it's literally is a stone fast routine. The only time I maybe haven't been journaling is when we're traveling. And at that time, it's a conscious decision to not do so as well. But otherwise, I always journal, and it's easy for me to do. And it got me thinking, how come this habit is so easy for me to get to and do? versus other habits that I'm trying to get into, like meditation. I have had a kind of meditation routine. I do kind of meditate almost every single day, and I have been doing that most consistently for the last year, actually. And of course, I always get my sessions in, my training in. But when it comes to my training, I don't always get it in on the same time, but I always get my journaling in on the same time. And that just got me thinking, how come I can get such a good routine with journaling, but not other things? And this is because when I started the habit of journaling, I had tried it before. So before I met my boyfriend, I had tried journaling. I would write everything I thought down on paper, and I would do it one day and then never again for months, years, and then I would try it again. Now he did it every day, and I was like, okay. So we sit down in the morning, at the kitchen table. Now we always have a morning separate because, it's alone time. It's nice to get in the morning, but in the beginning we had it together. And so he would always journal. But what he said is when you journal, it's a really good thing to put your thoughts down on paper. I think everyone knows the benefits of journal, but not everyone wants to do it. But he just said, the point is not to write a lot. The point is to write something every day. You could write just a word or just a sentence, but you just have to write something. So if you just wake up, you don't feel like writing, you just write, I'm tired, I don't feel like writing. And then you're done. And that was like a game changer for me because I was like, wait, I don't need to write a super long paragraph about everything that I'm feeling. Oh, okay, hold on. And then it makes much more sense. And so some days I just write, I slept good, have my normal morning routine, I'm grateful, and that's it. Like, usually that's it. Sometimes I'll write like 2-3 pages if I have a lot, if I read something good and I have a lot of ideas. But the point is, why I can have this habit is because it's very easy to enter. There's not a lot of pressure. And then I thought about meditation. And why do I struggle? I do get meditation in, but I'm always unmotivated to meditate. And I've noticed that because I've had a lot of issues with mental illness in the past, journaling and also meditation is something that just makes me feel way healthier mentally. So I know that it's important for me, and I know that if I meditate in the morning, I'll feel better for the rest of the day. But why do I still struggle to get it in? And then I kind of realized that this is probably because when I think about meditating, I always think that I have to sit for like 30 to 40 minutes. And the circumstances of which I meditate are never the same. What I mean by that is I'm not doing a habit stacking. Journaling is something I always do immediately in the morning, or I wake up, I like go outside for like a couple of meters and then get my matcha and sit down. So the only thing is I go out first. Some days I may do my makeup first, but it's like I always do it before I start the day. And so it's very easy for me to get journaling in, but if I skip it in the morning, then I'm not going to do it later in the day. So I have that down to a T, but when it comes to my meditation, I'll procrastinate doing it. I'll always do it in the morning, but I'll procrastinate. So I'll do my reading, I'll do my journaling. Sometimes I go straight to meditate. Sometimes I'll do my makeup first. Sometimes I'll do my hair. Sometimes I'll eat breakfast. Sometimes I'll end up on my phone before I meditate because I use my phone to take the timer so that I would sit long enough. And so I decided to change it into something that would have better circumstances, even with training actually. Something that I'm doing now in the terms of habit stacking when I'm trying to get a new routine is I take a habit that I have down to a T, that I always do every day, journaling. And right after that habit, I go straight to meditate. So now I'll read, I'll do my journaling, and then I'll go straight into meditating. I have a timer there, that's not my phone. And I no longer, previously I would put a timer for 30 minutes so that I would sit down until the timer went out. But now I'm more sort of focusing on the quality of my meditation. And instead of sitting that long, I have a timer that takes the time so that afterwards I can see how long I'm sitting. And then I just, try to feel more how I feel. And I've been able to get better meditation in since I've been doing that. And so that's something that I'm practicing to get it in all the same circumstances every day. Because I feel like what I've noticed is doing this for almost 2 weeks now is my motivation for meditation is easier, and it's easier to get started because I know what to expect and when to do it. So that's basically my habit stacking for that. And then I'm trying the same for training. Like I always get my training in no matter what. But some days if I'm tired, I may procrastinate getting into the gym, doing maybe some work before training. I may end up doing, and listening to a podcast before training. I may not end up cleaning the house. So if I'm unmotivated, I may not, because when I train, you have to get in and push your body. And so if I'm feeling sluggish, it may take some time before I actually get into it. And so I realized that could be the same with meditation. I'm not having the same circumstances, so I don't have a set time where I feel like, okay, it's training time. So I decided, okay, now what I'll do is, right after I meditate, I'll have an energy drink, something that I'm implementing to try to get my motivation up and energy up. I have an energy drink, do my makeup, and then I sit down and I have breakfast. And right after I'm done with eating breakfast, I go straight on a walk as a warm-up and then into the gym. And so trying to have the same circumstances, not starting to do something different before, I have had better motivation to get into training with that as well. So habit stacking is a really good thing that I'm practicing and trying on. Now I'm gonna finish my matcha, I'm gonna do my reading and meditating and all that. And once I'm done getting ready and doing my hair and makeup, I'll see you then and talk more. So, cheers. Okay, so now I'm ready. This is the outfit. Gymshark, not sponsored. I'm trying this one. So this is the energy drink that I'm trying right now. I don't know if you can get this from anywhere outside of Scandinavia or Sweden, but if you can, it's really good. I tried it for the first time. Sammy tried the other one, pure soda, and it was also really, really good. It's only 2 flavors that they have, but apparently they're both really good. I haven't tried pure soda, but he liked it, and he's way more critical than I am. It's only 105 milligrams of caffeine, and I think a lot of people want as much caffeine as possible. Honestly, for me, I do a lot of matcha, like I said, so I'm not that used to having too much caffeine, and if I have too much caffeine, I avoid the mess. I can see that a lot of things have fallen down from where we have our jackets, so I need to clean it. Just put it out of your consciousness. Yeah, really good. And also, like, with this amount of caffeine, I get the energy, but it's also a way for me to get used to more caffeine, but also not affect my sleep, because I tend to wake up later in the day and then, still go to bed kind of early. And so, yeah, too much caffeine can affect my sleep. So that's one thing. Now I am going to make breakfast and get ready for the gym. But so one thing that I want to talk about is, like I said, when you have like a big goal of some sort, you've had a big goal that you've been trying to achieve, and then after that you can get a little bit demotivated. And how do you get back to it after achieving such a big goal? So this is where this comes in. I'm gonna blur, I think it's blurry now, but I'm gonna blur this out because this is my goal sheet. So something Sammy has put a fruit sticker on my goal sheet. But so basically something that I like to do every time when I reach a big goal, if I let's just talk about it. If I fail at achieving my goal, let's say I fail a competition, or if I have a goal of hitting a certain weight, losing weight, and I fail, I'll be so motivated after that. I'll be like fired up because I want revenge. But what happens when you actually achieve everything is way easier to get complacent and thinking that you have everything under control, and it's easy to not try to get better. And listen, the thing is, if you do not try to get better, you're gonna get worse. It's entropy. If you just do things your own way, or not your own way, but you just do things, you don't think about it, you don't try to actually get better, you're gonna end up actually regressing. For example, if I just go into my training, I don't think about technique at all, I just do it however I want. What's going to happen is eventually my training is actually going to go worse if I don't try to actually get better in my training. Like, I'm just going to plateau and eventually get worse, literally. And so after achieving a big goal, in order to get motivation to get back, what I try to do is taking a week off. First of all, I got a question about this after Sheffield. How do you take post-meet recovery? I don't do any kind of treatments or anything like that because I don't get that fatigued from a competition in my body, but I do get very fatigued mentally. And so what I do is I take a week off, and during this week off, if possible, we travel somewhere, go on an actual vacation. Now we didn't find any good trips, just didn't have the opportunity to, so we went home. But so I still take a week off from everything, work, training, try to like just rest, like mentally. I don't track my nutrition. I still usually eat pretty well, but I just don't track. I don't track my weight. I just take a week off from doing all of the things that I usually do, just to mentally unwind and get energy back. But something that I do is I set up new goals. So I make a new goal sheet. So let's go to it. So this here is something that I like to do, is I just like to set up like a big sheet of paper with my goals. This is something I learned at like a training camp back in 2018 or 2019. It was after my first international competition. And so it was with Alexander Eriksson, and he just talked about how to set goals. And ever since this, I've been doing these sheets like all the time. Like every time I reach a goal, every year, like I have a new one. And now I have like in different times of like quarters and everything. But so I have all these goals written down all the time. And so this is just something that helps me stay motivated and find a new goal. Because if you, let's say you lose all the weight, you've been trying to lose weight, you lose all the weight that you wanted to lose. And then after that, you just want to go back to living how you used to before, eating bad, not training, for example, not getting your steps in. What's going to happen is you're going to gain the weight back. And so, which is obviously what you don't want. So in order to stay and make sure that fitness is a lifestyle for you, you want to make sure that you literally, in order to make it a lifestyle, that you have something else to look for. So if the initial goal when you started your fitness journey was to lose weight, after you've lost weight, you now want to get to a point where, now let's say you want to get stronger. Now your next goal is to get stronger. You want a competition? Okay, great. Now what's the bigger competition? What's the next goal? What's the next weight goal? So always setting new goals. And this is not to make sure that you never feel satisfied, but at the same time, it is to make sure you never feel satisfied. So do you always have something to work towards, a reason to get better every day. And so how I do this is literally I first start with a vision. So like I said, I'm going to blur this out because my goals are very specific to me and I don't want you to copy them. Also, I'm keeping them personal for everything that I want to achieve. But I only people that know about this, what's on this is like my boyfriend and then my coach. But so literally like I have my vision, and this is like the big thing that you want to achieve in terms of fitness in your life. So this could be maybe, becoming the absolute best version of yourself. It's a cliche one, but it could be becoming the best version of yourself, being someone who dares to try new things all the time, becoming an influencer and helping other people try to achieve what seems impossible. Show that nothing is impossible. Show that hard work can achieve anything. What your vision is inside your life. So this is a big thing about who you want to be. Then we get to stretch goals. And stretch goals should be a stretch. This should be big. This should be goals where you feel like when you first think about it, it should feel impossible. One thing that I can say here is like, okay, 300 kilo deadlift. Maybe I can do that sometimes, but at the same time, when I first think about it, it's like, it seems impossible. You get the point. So it should be somewhere where it's a really big goal. And it could be for you to become, let's say you want to become a huge, big fitness influencer with a really good physique, or you want to become a 3-time world champion. You want to hit a world record. It could just be you want to win nationals. Anything that seems, it doesn't have to be super big. Like, it doesn't have to be the biggest thing on earth, but something that is you want that almost feels impossible at the first time when you look at it. Now, after stretch goal, we'll go into SMART goals. And SMART means specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So that's what SMART stands for. So it should be a goal that is specific to your stretch goal, meaning that, for example, if my stretch goal is to become a world champion, and then my SMART goal is to swim. I want to swim a mile. Like, that's not specific to becoming a world champion in powerlifting. Like, it's not. So it should be specific to this. So if, for example, back in the day, what I did is, maybe I had becoming a world champion here and my stretch goal. Then for my SMART goal, I literally had, win nationals, win my first junior nationals. Because if I win nationals, then maybe I can get picked to the national team. So that was something that I knew I could do. So it should also be measurable. So you should be able to measure if you can do this. So it shouldn't be like feel good, because how are you going to measure if you feel good, for example? So it could be something, if you have, it's very measurable to see if I get closer to nationals, or if you want to lose, let's say you want to become a really good fitness influencer and help people, and that's your stretch goal, and do like fitness full time. Let's say then your SMART goal could be to, you know, okay, first of all, get in shape, learn about training. And so you could say like, okay, I want to lose 5 kilos, or I want to have visible abs, I want to get bigger biceps, I want to get bigger glutes, I want to lift heavier weights, for example. Maybe you just want to get to increase your deadlift with 10 or 20 kilos. So it's measurable. You can see, make sure you can see throughout the year if you can actually make progress. It should be achievable, so it should be something where you can achieve it. It should be challenging, but you should be able to achieve it. So you shouldn't say, if you're really far away from becoming the national champion, then that's not going to be the goal that you have. You're not going to put like, okay, I'm going to be the best shape of my life and be like super toned and look like I've trained for 10 years if this is your first year of training. And then it should also be a realistic, almost the same as achievable. You know, it should be a realistic goal to achieve. And then timely. And this means it should be, let's say, within a specific time frame that's not too long. Because the stretch goal could be something that, you know, you achieve in 10 years. Like, it should be a really big life goal, vision as well. So for a SMART goal, I like to think the next year, or the next like 3, 4, 6 months. So like a shorter time. So you set goals that are achievable within that time, but that is challenging, and they're gonna take you closer to your stretch goal. For me, you know, getting to the national team is obviously the biggest thing too. If I want to become a world champion, which I've achieved now, you know, I just needed to get to the national team and get experience. First it was the junior national team, get experience, become better, so that I could eventually, you know, get strong enough and be a world champion. Because if I don't go to worlds, no, I can't become a world champion. Doesn't matter how strong I am. And then you have actions. And this is just thinking about things that you need to do to achieve said goal. And this is something where motivates me really much, because now I know I have a direction. And when you have a goal set, you're gonna have like basically a missile that is gonna like help you. Now I've done this for what I want to achieve with worlds, and like for the next, hopefully if I get to the next Sheffield, what I want to achieve there. And then I have the actions as well, which is just like, what do I need to do during this time in order to reach it? Okay, maybe I need to make sure, you know, things that I do to get stronger is, now I want to have more energy, which is why I'm implementing energy drinks, so I have more energy for my training, because then I usually have better sessions. And, you know, sleep good. Maybe I want to implement meditation, because I know if I meditate, I feel better mentally about myself. If I feel better mentally about myself, I can focus more on lifting and not be distracted. You know, all of those things. Like, one thing I have down here is like, be Alba. So literally you should find what you need to work on, and this is going to be specific to your goal. But this is something that I like to do when I've achieved a big goal, is just sit down and redirect yourself to what do you want to achieve next. And that's something that I think is just very, very helpful to make sure that you always stay motivated. You're not always going to be motivated, but know what you're doing, because otherwise it will be, you achieve the big goal, you'll feel empty, and then it's like, okay, what next? If you have bigger goals, it's easier to, you know, continue on to the journey. So that was my Alba rant of this video. Okay, so the reason I'm having breakfast now, I have 4 eggs here. I'm waiting for my oats to cook. I cook it in a rice cooker. And then I'm gonna keep having this. I'm gonna have my supplements, creatine, omega-3, I'm gonna have magnesium, vitamin D, and then I'll just drink this with electrolytes as well. And I'm gonna have oatmeal with some honey in it. Nothing else, but it's because I boil it with milk, so it tastes so good on its own. But so one reason why I wanted to implement habit stacking inside this video of getting back into things after you've achieved a big goal is because when you write your action plan on like trying to achieve that specific goal that you have, maybe you need to implement new routines. And so implementing new good habits and routines and trying to make it into a lifestyle can be a bit tricky, which is where habit stacking comes in. So as I've said, that's how I do it with meditation. One thing I forgot to say is I don't have like a time limit for my meditation. I try to just think, as long as I sit down to meditate, I've achieved something great. So I measure myself on if I actually sat down, not whether or not like I meditated, the meditation was pleasurable, long, or good or anything like that. But more so I sat down and that's a win. Because right now I'm just trying to make sure that I feel motivated to meditate, and then I'll try to prolong the period. Once it's automatic for me, just like with journaling, then I'll try to maybe prolong the amount of time I meditate for. But so basically now as well with habit stacking, something else that I'm trying to do is I try to spend less time scrolling on social media. And if you follow me, I tend to delete Instagram and everything from my phone. That's the easiest way to not be on it. But I am making an effort to actually post more as well, which is really hard because if I try to post a lot of social media, when I'm in there, I tend to like check what other people do and then I end up in a rabbit hole. So something that I've been trying to do as well is try to just not check social media as well as not listen to as many podcasts, because I tend to listen to every powerlifting podcast we got in there on earth. And it's nice, it's cool, it's interesting, but it's sad in a sense as well, simply because it derails me a little bit. So what I'm trying to do is, I try to just not think about what is other people doing and compare myself as much. And so something that I've been doing with my habit stacking is I try to listen to audiobooks. I'm currently started Fourth Wing, which is a fantasy book that I've heard about before and I wanted to read. So I started it. I think I listened to like I started yesterday, but so I've been listening for like 2 or 3 hours of it, and I really like it. But so what I'm gonna do now while I have breakfast, instead of, usually I pick up my computer and then I check YouTube and I check everything and see like what are people doing. And I'll be honest, I'll probably want to do that for some time as well. Like I do want to do it now. Like everything in me just want to start my computer and check YouTube or podcasts instead. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my audiobook. And as soon as I start it, I know that I'm going to be hooked because it's very, very good. And now with an audiobook, you could obviously listen to something a bit more helpful. But since I do read and I get a lot of like helpful content anyway, and I'm very happy with my routines, I instead try to listen to something that I'm just interested in. Because that way I'm gonna be more consumed and relaxed when I recover and when I eat, because I can just listen to my audiobook. It will help me when I go on my walks, because sometimes I procrastinate going on my walks and I need like a podcast or something to actually get to the walk. But now I can listen to an audiobook instead, which just makes me know less about what other people are doing powerlifting, so I can focus more on me. So if you maybe want to get more into reading or something, audiobooks is a great way to do that. But also if you have some routines where you feel like, okay, going on walks, it's hard, you want to make it fun to do so, eating your meals and all of that and being calm, having something to listen to, a podcast can be great. But if you're like me, you want to avoid podcasts because you just don't want to see what everyone else in your area is doing and hear all the gossip. Because when I compete, I feel like now that I did Sheffield, like now everyone is talking about me doing 600, and don't get me wrong, I want to do 600 for a total, and I think I can get there eventually. But as soon as you achieve something or you fail something, either people are gonna always believe recency bias, people are always gonna have their opinions on who's gonna be the best, what people are gonna do. And I don't need that to perform better. I have enough internal motivation to get better on my own. And usually when I get external motivation, it actually derails me from what I'm supposed to do. So I'm trying to listen to less podcasts, make sure that I don't have any need. When I'm addicted to a series or something, I don't want to spend time on Instagram. I'll just post what I need to and be out, because I don't have any want, because I just want to get back to my series or something like that, or listening to that instead on that time, or get web, like when I'm not doing work and all of that, of course. And so I just want to get back to it. And so that makes it easier for me to not want to be. But if all the like interesting things I got are on social media, then I'm gonna end up on social media. So now that's another habit stacking thing that I'm doing, is just listening to more audiobooks. So that's what I'm gonna do now while eating. Now I'm gone, now I'm gone. Ooh, give me that fire. Okay, so I am back and I forgot my microphone in the gym, and I didn't bother to get it, but so I'm back. Training went well. It was an easy session, but it felt pretty well. And then after that, I had forgotten to make rice, and actually we have to go and check out a house because we need to move this summer or before the summer. So we need to check out a lot of houses, which obviously disrupts my routine a little bit. But so what I'm doing is I went on my long walk. I came in, had a banana, some chocolate milk, and then had a long walk as well, listening to my audiobook, just getting that out of the way rather than doing it after showing, because it's nice when it's light out and everything. And now I'm gonna have lunch. So yeah, just rice, steaks, some greens, very simple. I'm gonna lunch, continue listening to my audiobook. I've almost listened to 7 hours. And I started yesterday, but it's really good. So I'm gonna continue doing that, and then we're gonna go to the house showing, and then basically I'm gonna do the rest of the afternoon, gonna do some work, and then try to recover. Pretty much, kind of simple. And one thing I want to say as well is with my routine, I broke my other headphones, so I have to use these ones. But with my routine that I have, obviously I am very, very blessed to be able to decide how I put down my own time. I'm not forced to, for example, wake up at a certain time. I can literally just put up my hours when I want to, which is very, very, I'm blessed to be that. So when it comes to the routine that I'm having here, it's not something you need to, copy, but try to think about habits you have that you want to take in and implement and how it's going to work in your life, and try to stack the habits that you want to create and get that you need to achieve your new goals with after habits that you already have. Which is why, for example, when I need to go on house showing, I'll always try to, have lunch after training, and then after lunch, long walk, or long walk, then lunch, stack it together so that it always gets done. Otherwise, I'm going to end up in the end of the day not having gotten enough steps or back on my nutrition, which is not good. So that's it. Now I'm going to do this. I want to continue listening to my audiobook. So I'll see ya. It's another day. So today's Friday, and we went to check out the house yesterday. We'll have to see if we get that house or if we get another one. We're gonna check out another house today. We've been not unlucky, but we tried to get a few houses last summer or during the summer and the fall. It just didn't go all the way. So we'll just at this point, it's we know we want that house, but we're still gonna go check out this house today and another house next week, because in case, we don't want to get all our hopes up for one house. But so it was good. The biggest thing is it had a garage. I'm I need a garage. I need my home gym equipment somewhere. And I've gotten so used to training at home that it's I just want to do that. So now I am having breakfast. I already had 4 eggs, and then I have oatmeal. And now you're gonna be what does she eat? This is just oatmeal, but I cook it with low-fat milk, and then I have a little bit of honey in it. That's when you go to a hotel Like every time when I've been in Greece or Spain, and like the hotel breakfast, they cook it with milk and it just tastes so much better. So I've been doing that myself, and then I don't need anything to it. Like if I add berries, it destroys the taste of oats. I grew up loving oatmeal. And I have all my supplements, trying another flavor today, pear soda, which was really good. And it's like the exact same thing as yesterday. Again, I'm just habit stacking. I'm sitting here, I'm actually watching the video that White Lights Media did as a documentary style video for Sheffield. So that's gonna come out this Sunday, but you're probably already gonna have seen it when this video comes out, because this video is probably coming out sometime next week, Thursday or Friday. But so basically now I'm just getting ready, like literally just getting ready, having my energy drink, and my supplements, eating breakfast. I'm gonna start listening to my audiobook now as well, because I finished watching the video. So I'm gonna listen to my audiobook, go on my walk, get training. Exact same thing, long walk, eat, and then, you know, go to check out the house again, because it's the exact same time and it's half an hour drive. But so yeah, and I feel like I've gotten everything that I wanted to get out of this video out already. You know, how to set goals after, you know, you achieve a big goal. And so now, you know, I just need to continue on that. And then, you know, habit stacking as well in order to achieve the small ones. And then something that I read in Atomic Habits as well this morning was, do not focus, you should not be concerned, or here it goes, sorry. What you should be concerned about is your current trajectory, not your current results. And this really stuck with me. So you should not be focused on the current results that you get, because listen, when you do something well, when you change a habit or anything, you're not gonna get results immediately. It's gonna take some time. So when you're really gonna get, you know, results is going to be after a while. And so what you should be worried on is, am I on the right trajectory? Let's say you continue on with these habits that you have now. Let's say in 3 months, where are you going to be? An example for this, the bench rule is coming, the bench change. I am guessing, I can still hope that on Sunday they're gonna post the new rules and they'll be like, no, let's just bench like normal, and then that's it. But probably, sadly, it's gonna change and I won't be able to bench. And I've trained for that already. I started right after Sheffield. And so one thing that I'm curious about is, I don't really know if I'm training exactly correct. I don't really know if it's exactly correct. And so at the moment as well, my results in bench, what I'm doing for a single, is not that good. I'll be honest, it's not good. It's shitty. I feel weak, but I am on a very great trajectory. Anyway, like I'm moving in the right direction to the point where if I continue this way, I am going to be stronger at the end. So I am getting stronger, although I am actually just, you know, not having the results that I want right now. So my trajectory is moving in the right direction. I'm detrained right now. I don't feel that good in squat or deadlift. Like my peak strength is not that. Like my results are not anything crazy, but I am doing things and habits daily that are putting me on the right trajectory, so that come June, you know, in 4 months, yeah, like 15 weeks, I'll actually be stronger, probably. At least better than I am now, and get better results. So that's something to end the video with, is just focus on, put up new goals that you like, focus on the actions you need to take in the habits. In order to achieve those habits, focus on stacking those habits. And then always when you check if you're making progress or not, if you're unmotivated and you're thinking, am I doing the right thing? Am this working? Just think about the trajectory that you are on. What is this gonna give you in a few weeks, a few months, a few years even? And because results doesn't come immediately, usually it's an exponential effect where you don't see anything and then all of a sudden it comes. So to be patient with that and just focus on that. And if you're on the right trajectory, stay patient, stick with it. That's another way to see that your goals are measurable, if the right trajectory can take you there. And if you have good SMART goals, you should be able to see, you know, some results. Because we're not just looking at your stretch goals here. We're looking at the SMART goals that you want to achieve within this year, within the next 6 months. So you just have to make sure that you're on the right trajectory for that one. So now I'm gonna finish this go training, but thank you so much for watching this video. If you're interested in learning all of my best tips in order to actually get stronger and with training programs, form checks, and just mindset overall, and join an amazing community, you can join ALLSTRENGTH. Click the link in my bio to check it out. There's a free trial so you can feel for yourself how it feels before you actually get started. It's a project that I'm extremely excited about and that we've been working on for the last few months, and yeah, it's picking up, so it's really nicely. So that's that, and thank you for watching. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and like the video, and please comment below what more type of videos and type of content and subjects you want me to continue talking about so that you can learn the absolute most as well as keep you entertained. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.